These long dog days of summer, I mean, we just made it through a heat wave. Mama was parched through this heat wave. I was hitting up Dunkin' every single day, and I will continue to probably for the rest of my days, but especially this summer. Dunkin' is helping everyone stay cool this summer with its lineup of refreshers. These drinks are packed with bold, fruity flavors and served ice cold. It's amazing. Dunkin' refreshers are the perfect afternoon pick-me-up. I like to start my morning with them personally, and then sometimes I go back for a second one because I'm just feeling crazy. They come in a variety of delicious flavors, including fan favorites mango pineapple and strawberry dragon fruit. And then for a limited time, there's black cherry and there's pink pineapple. I'm going to tell you something right now, and it's a bold claim, let me tell you, but I stand behind it. Pink pineapple will change your life. It is so good. It has me feeling like I'm sitting in a pool, resort side, just living, honey. It's so yummy. Try your favorite flavor with green tea, sparkling water, lemonade, or Dunkin's all-new limeade. I haven't tried the limeade yet, but I'm going to. Usually I get my drinks made with green tea and occasionally lemonade, but I do really like the green tea. Or if you don't want to build your own, try one of Dunkin's curated refreshers like the Cherry Lime Ricky or the Ultimate Pink Daydream. The Cherry Lime Ricky, scrumptious. I could drink like 3 of these a day. They're so freaking yummy. Head to Dunkin' today and find your favorite refresher. Dunkin' refreshers contain less than 1% fruit juice. Limited time offer. Every good detective needs a partner to support them on important cases. Think of a State Farm agent like your sidekick, there to help you along the way in your search for coverage. State Farm can help you choose the coverage you need, whether it's for your home, car, boat, or even RV. With so many options, it's nice knowing you have help finding what fits for you so you can get back to solving all of life's bigger cases. Go to statefarm.com or use the award-winning app to connect with a local agent and get a quote. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
One sunny day, a honeybee was merrily buzzing through an orchard when she stopped to collect nectar from a mystery apple blossom. She passed that pollen along to a Honeycrisp tree, and months later, the sugar bee apple was born. Naturally sweet, with layered notes of caramel, honey, molasses, and the perfect crunch. The world has embraced the sugar bee apple, a pure delight for snacking and baking. Download our new free recipe book and find a store near you at hellosugarbee.com. Sugar bee apples, from bee to you.
Hey, weirdos, I'm Ash.
And I'm Elena.
And this is Morbid in the Morning.
Haven't done one of those in a while.
I know. I woke up this morning and I said, oh, that just made me think of The Sopranos.
I woke up this
It took everything in me not to go, myself a ghost.
You're like, I did it.
No, I sure didn't. I got myself a coffee and a bagel. So little different.
A little different.
Picked up my packed lunch.
See, it's morbid in the morning. So
It is.
It's going to be
unhinged.
silly.
Yeah.
It's going to be
Can
silly.
be silly for the intro.
It's true. And then it's not. And then it's not going to
And
be.
it's simply not silly goose behavior. Well,
Definitely
actually,
not.
there is some fucking silly goose behavior in this case.
Really?
But before we get to it.
Interesting. Well, before we get to it, you like books, guys?
I like books.
You like words?
I like words.
Do you like stories?
I'll eat a story up.
Well, guess what?
Tell me.
There's a sequel to The Butcher and the Wren called The Butcher Game.
Holy shit. I don't even know my own author.
Holy shit. It's coming out September 17th, but you can pre-order it now anywhere. Pre-order it. And if you pre-order it on Barnes & Noble and you use the code BUTCHER25, you can get 25% off.
Ooh, I love 25%
Which is
off.
great.
It's like a coupon without a coupon.
It's a coupon.
Yeah.
It's a coupon code. So
exactly.
do it. It's longer. It's gnarlier.
It's good.
Shit goes down in this book. So I think if you liked The Butcher and the Wren, I think you're gonna dig it. And if you haven't read The Butcher and the Wren yet, you should do that too.
Yeah, buy
Why
them
not?
both.
Let's do this. Let's go on this journey together, everybody.
It's exciting.
Come with me.
Books.
I'm
actually very excited for the advanced reader copies because I happen to be an advanced reader. And I want to smell it.
I can't wait to smell the book. I love smelling the book.
They always smell like a book every time.
It's true.
But
you guys get it. You guys get it, because you guys have been amazing, and you've been fucking killing it, and super supportive, and super kind about it, and I love you guys, and you rule.
Yay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for supporting me.
And keep pre-ordering.
I was being you in that moment.
Thanks for supporting me.
Me.
Love you guys.
Love you. Any other bid nasty?
That's my plug.
I like your plug. I don't really
No, my
have
only other
any.
biz nasty is the total solar eclipse was fucking mind-changing.
I know, you got to see it
Mind-bending.
like in the path of totality.
Yeah, I was in that path of totality, and it was fucking gnarly.
The videos people took are like, I didn't go outside and see it because I am lazy. I'm just kidding. I had other things going on, but I had other things going on during the solar eclipse.
Besides the solar eclipse.
So,
okay,
but
this celestial event, not interested.
watched it on TikTok. Very, very zillennial of
That
me.
was very zillennial.
But yeah, the fucking videos are insane.
And they don't even capture in reality when you're looking at it.
I can't imagine.
It's the first one that we've ever seen, and because John's like a huge space nerd. He loves space. All the things space this man is all about.
He's a space cadet.
He is a space cadet. I love him. So he was so excited, and he was hyping this up, and I was like, he had never seen one either, but he was hyping it up just like, because he was like, I know it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, he knows
was
what it
so
looks
excited.
like.
And I was like, I hope this lives up to your hype, dude, because like,
And did it like,
this is the whole universe that you're hyping up.
it like surpassed the hype.
We were both just like in awe.
It's cool that you got to experience that too, like with your little fam.
Yeah, with
like
the kids and everything.
like
it
nanny.
because they were amazed, like,
And that like grandma.
yeah, not like nanny.
Not nanny, yeah.
I don't have
just
a
to
nanny.
clarify.
I have a grandma nanny. But yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
And then I saw all these people got engaged during it, and I saw one
Yes.
last night that the photographer took the photo as the diamond ring phase happened.
That is the one that I was telling you about yesterday.
That's the one that it blew, because the diamond ring phase in the solar eclipse is like when it's opening again, and you get this burst of light out of one side, and it literally looks like a diamond ring.
That was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And we were
could not believe that.
We were talking about it yesterday. Like, I can't imagine how much stress was on that
pressure.
poor photographer. And you could tell when she was setting
yeah.
up, she was like, ah!
She was like, I'm so nervous. I have to get this. Like,
But imagine having that be your fucking proposal.
and having it be the fucking diamond ring phase.
You get one on
of
your
the
finger,
solar eclipse.
And there's one in the galaxy.
In the galaxy.
In the galaxy.
Like the moon was like, let me help you out.
And just like, damn.
Yeah.
You're starting that shit off right.
Yeah.
I love it.
You're starting it off on a real high bar.
High bar.
So it's like you got a lot.
It's only,
gotta keep
It's
it.
only up from there.
Keep it at that
Fucking
level.
Crazy.
No, it was really cool. If you ever get a chance to see a total solar eclipse in the path of totality, which like I know it's hard to do because it happens like every fucking who knows when.
Yeah, I think the next one I'll be like 50 something.
There's like one in 2026, but you'd have to go to like Iceland.
I'll go.
Which I was like,
Sign me up.
I was like, all right, threaten me with a good
How
time.
far is Iceland? Like,
It's not a bad plane ride from where we are.
the fact that I genuinely was just about to say you could fly there.
You could fly
You
there.
could fly there.
In fact, it's
You can
recommended
actually.
that you fly
can fly
there.
anywhere.
It's recommended you fly to this island.
What a wild question. What a dumbass thing to say.
Instead of trying to traverse the sea.
I'm like, there are English Channel there. Oh,
Trying
Iceland
to
to
cross the
Boston.
river with your oxen. I think that instead you should fly.
I don't even have any oxen, so
like-
that sounds like a good idea.
But also, like, flying is a real gamble at this point.
Shh. Don't you say that to
Just-
me.
no,
I'm
it's
literally
just-
getting on a flight on Saturday.
No, it's on but you're on an Airbus.
Am I? I need to look
I
into
hope you didn't check,
that. I told Drew to.
bitch.
I know. I know.
Check that shit.
I know. It's very complicated to check.
Boeing had another fuck up. Like, no, they're like legitimate. Like something's up.
Oh yeah, there's a whole investigation.
They were
I don't
taking
even think
off
we
and
should
the
talk
wings
about it.
started shredding.
I don't
Like,
even think we should talk about
You
it.
gotta make sure you're on an Airbus.
I'm going to, but I
I'll
don't.
fight you guys. Be on an Airbus.
You think I would actually sit my ass on a Boeing? I would look before I got on the
I
plane.
was gonna say,
I just might do it like 5 minutes before and be like,
baby
well,
girl, you gotta do it before.
we gotta get a different flight at this very moment.
on an Airbus.
Hello, husband. We on an Airbus on Saturday, right? Guys, I'm going to Disney.
I'm so excited for her.
You couldn't even say that.
I am.
with your whole
I'm excited
chest.
for you.
Oh, I can't wait. I love Disney like Holly Madison loves Disney at this point. Like, I understand the love.
And I love it for both of you.
I planned the sickest outfits. I'm going to be hella. I got a tennis skirt.
See, you and Holly.
Yeah. Oh,
That's-
I love her style, like especially her Disney style. And I love Marie from the Aristocats. So I have one outfit that's all Marie themed.
I'm obsessed with this.
Down to the socks.
Wow.
Fuck me up.
Wow.
Fuck me up.
I love that.
I
for
even
you.
ordered like pink shoes to go with my pink shirt.
You know what? I'm for that.
Yeah, I'm out here living.
I hyperfixate, man.
Yeah, I can't wait to have kids.
Get fucking excited.
And bring them to Disney and make them match me. Like,
hell yeah.
Like for the short amount of time that I'll be able to do that. I can't wait.
Yeah. You know what? Just because I don't love the experience of Disney doesn't mean that I can't be like, fuck yeah, for other people. You love Disney. Love Disney.
Thank you.
And
That was
someday
kind.
I hope I can tolerate Disney.
You need to go to Disney on the thing that I saw it on TikTok. It was like World Goth Day at Disney. And I think they need some more villainous rides for you.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's also just
Well, you also don't like rides.
hate amusement parks.
You don't.
It's just not. I think it's tough for me to. It's going to be tough for me to enjoy it.
It's not your vibe.
The only reason I enjoy it is because the kids do. So,
Yeah.
as long as they enjoy it,
I can take them
that's all
anytime
that
you'd
matters.
like.
I'll suffer through anything
You're
for
like,
them.
I'll
so
go. That's true. You will.
you
and
know,
have.
like literally anything. So I'm like, all right, let's go.
That's really sweet. Yeah, I can't wait. So
Well, that's fun.
let's fucking go. I'm also going to Mario World. So
John was very jealous about that.
you guys were going somewhere else. And I was like, oh man, like I want to go there. And he goes, you're going to Super Mario World.
He was like, fuck off. You're going to Super Mario World.
It was like such a it felt like a Step Brothers moment.
It was such a little kid. He was like, go to Mario World.
I'll get him a souvenir.
Yeah, there you go.
Get him like a Mario shirt.
At Mario.
Mario. All right, I think we've bantered enough.
Yeah, I think we're just like, I know this is going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
I don't know the details of this, but I know it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah,
so.
this is definitely a tough one. Like, let me get my more serious hat on.
Yeah.
At the top of it, I will give you like a trigger warning. It has heavy, heavy themes of racism. This entire case is rooted in racism. And this is the case of the murder of Timothy Coggins. So we'll get into it.
Let's go.
And I just want to say at the start, I would have been Timothy's friend. Like,
Aw.
and you're going to feel that way too. He just seemed like, I feel like he would have been all of our friend.
Oh.
And he just seemed like a friendly, like just someone you would want in your friend group. And the fact that what happened to him did just because people are disgusting, like really pisses me off.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just gross. So Timothy Wayne Coggins was born in Georgia on August 29th, 1960. He was the fourth of 8 children born to Viola Coggins Dorsey, which Viola, love.
It immediately makes me think of Viola Davis.
Yes, same.
Which is like a very good association.
100%. The family didn't have a lot when it came to income or resources, but they were really a tight-knit family and they were all completely supportive of one another. So where they weren't rich in like money and assets, they were rich in like love for each other, which I love.
Honestly, where it counts.
Exactly. And despite an already full house, Viola and Tim's stepfather, Robert, constantly, regularly entertained nieces, nephews, friends. They were that house you could always go to if you didn't have a place to go.
I love that.
Or just if you needed some support in a place that felt like home.
Yeah.
Tim's niece Heather said, they didn't come from much, but they came from love, and that taught them to love each other.
Oh.
Now, despite their limited means, Viola and Robert worked really hard to instill strong values and a good work ethic in all of their kids. But most of all, they stressed, and I'm sure you can already tell, the importance of family connection. Tim and his younger sister, Talissa, were only 2 years apart, so they grew up with a really, really close bond. Talissa described Tim saying he was funny and outgoing. Tim was a man with an irresistible smile who never met a stranger. Like, I love the way she put that. Like, he never met a stranger.
Like they were friends immediately.
I love that. And he was also really, really protective of his friends and family, especially very protective over his 4 sisters and his mother. Like, you were not going to do anything to hurt them if Tim was around.
And whenever one of his sisters was going to a friend's house, he would insist on walking them there and back just to make sure they got there and home with no trouble.
Oh.
Likewise, he was always affectionate with his mother, and he went out of his way to help her. Heather Coggins, his niece, said, "There was nothing my grandmother could ask him to do that he wouldn't do. If she asked him to walk to Atlanta and pick up a croissant, he'd do it."
See, he's just a good man.
He's a good man. What friends and family remember most, though, was Tim's passion for music. In the early 1980s, the remnants of the disco and the funk era were still really popular on the radio, and Tim loved going out to the club on the weekend just to spend the weekend dancing.
Hell yeah.
Like, loved dancing, loved music. One of his aunts remembered he'd just dance anywhere. He'd dance in the street.
Oh, I love that.
He had his dancing shoes on all the time.
Dancing in the street.
It's Tim.
I love that.
No. In 1983, Spalding County was one of the more rural parts of the Atlanta metro area. Although it was actually the largest city in the county, Griffin was equally rural. Because the town was so small, the People's Choice Club, a small dance club in the almost exclusively black part of Griffin, was the hottest place to be on a Friday night, especially if you wanted to dance, especially if you wanted to hear some music.
Hell yeah.
This was the place to go.
I love people who love to dance.
Hell yeah.
I feel like it's just like that's a very specific kind of person, and
It
they're
is.
always awesome.
Yeah, they always rock. Shake your booty.
Right?
Now, on the night of October 7th, Tim caught a ride with a friend to the People's Choice Club, where he was going to meet up with Ruth Mickey Guy. She was a local white woman who he had started dating a few weeks earlier. According to a journalist, Wesley Lowry, even in the 1980s, interracial dating was frowned upon in Spalding.
Which is so wild
It's
to
insane.
think about that.
And it's about to get even more wild. This is still his quote. Where a local Klan chapter still held regular rallies and parades.
That feels like it should be a different planet.
It
doesn't
does.
it? Like, it just doesn't feel...
Honestly,
Like
at this
this-
point, I'm like, yeah, that's Earth.
No, absolutely.
Like,
absolutely.
you know what I mean?
Now, unfortunately, it's like I feel like everything is flipped on its head way too much.
Very much
Like,
so.
I feel like the wheels turn backwards way too quickly.
But it should
it's
be
like-
somewhere else. Like,
But it just feels like you look around, you're like, it doesn't belong on this planet.
No,
you know, like this belongs on a less advanced planet. A less advanced society should be doing this kind of shit
it's so true. And
and thinking this kind of way.
it's just sad to think that, like, Black people living in this area were just subject to seeing parades go by full of white people that wanted to do the most disgusting, horrific things to them and, like, literally don't see them as human.
And they had to just go about their lives.
And just live and share the same spaces.
And it's probably one of the very big reasons why Timothy was so adamant about walking his sister's places and, you know, walking his mother places.
100%.
And, like, making sure, like, putting himself in harm's way.
Yeah.
To make sure they're safe because they're not safe.
Exactly.
Because
I think that's
it's
exactly
right
what it
out
was.
loud. That's the other thing. It's like they're saying the quiet parts out loud. They're just not even hiding it.
Exactly. No, it's so true.
gross.
And this was very much an area, like this county was very much an area where it was pretty segregated. Like there were black parts of town and there were white parts
Yeah.
of town. And I'm sure they intersected at certain points. And that must have been just so fear inducing for a black
Yeah.
person to have to go in in a quote unquote white area.
Yeah.
And to think that this was the 1980s. This
Yeah.
was not like 1919 or something like that.
You know, the 1930s or something where you're
Yeah.
like still, you know, where you're like, damn, even then you're like, damn, we should have advanced further than that.
But this is the 1980s.
1980s?
Like, I know people that were alive during this time.
yeah,
You were
I was born
almost
during
alive.
this, yeah.
Like,
And it's like when I hear these kind of stories and like things like this, it's like and I say this a lot, but I can't imagine looking at a kid and filling them with that
With
kind of
hatred.
hate for
Yeah.
another person
but that's
for
what people
no
do.
fucking reason.
That's what people
Except
do.
for what they look like.
And it's so
Like,
scary.
I couldn't imagine looking at the girls and being like, let me teach you to hate somebody based solely on appearances.
But
or
that's-
at all.
That's the scariest thing is you hit the nail on the head there because you think about it. And these people in this area had been taught from
Yeah.
probably the time before they could even speak to hate.
Just to hate.
Just to hate because of literally the color of someone's skin.
Yeah. And it's just, and
nothing
again,
beyond
kids are
that.
so open. They're so
Impressionable.
and they're so like they come out just
Pure.
ready to accept whatever, ready to just make friends and be kind and be. They do. They just come out that
we
way.
teach
9
them
times out of
things.
10, they come out that way. We teach them this shit.
Yep.
And you teach them that shit real early, and it's like, I just can't fathom looking at like a very open-minded, just untainted child and just tainting them with adult hate. Like, I just can't.
It's good that we can't fathom it, because I can't either, obviously.
It's just so sad.
I don't know what headspace that you have to be in to, and honestly, I think you had to have been raised with hate.
Yeah, like if you're teaching that, it's a cycle.
It
for
is.
sure.
And
But it's like, where does it start? It's got to start somewhere, and it's like, what the fuck?
Well, and on the bigger question is, where the fuck does it end? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Are we done yet?
Yeah, how do you break that?
Like, it's bad. It's
but
still
you do
bad.
see these people who they come from a long line of this shit, and they're taught that from a young age, and luckily they were able to, which must be difficult if you're like, so indoctrinated to think that way.
Yeah, to break that cycle.
Some people are able to break free of just like the indoctrination of thinking that way and be like, wait a second, and start thinking critically about it and be like, what the fuck am I doing? Like,
this is
what are these thoughts that have been put in my head?
Yeah.
And they end up like going the totally different way, but it's so rare.
It is. And it's
so sad.
Overall, it's just really sad and
It's
really
just dumb.
scary.
It's just dumb.
And dumb.
It sucks.
This episode is brought to you by SoFi, the all-in-one finance app where you can bank, borrow, and invest all in one place. Let's talk about bank accounts for a second. The average bank savings rate is 0.39% in interest. You're earning pennies on your savings, and it doesn't have to be that way. But with SoFi's high-yield checkings and savings, the money barely making moves sitting in your savings account can earn over 8 times the national average savings rate with eligible direct deposit. No account or overdraft fees. We love transparency. You can get your paycheck up to 2 days early, plus get up to a $300 welcome bonus when you sign up with eligible direct deposit. Sign up for SoFi checking and savings at SoFi.com/morbid. SoFi checking and savings is offered through SoFi Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Terms apply. Every good detective needs a partner to support them on important cases. Think of a State Farm agent like your sidekick, there to help you along the way in your search for coverage. State Farm can help you choose the coverage you need, whether it's for your home, car, boat, or even RV. With so many options, it's nice knowing you have help finding what fits for you so you can get back to solving all of life's bigger cases. Go to statefarm.com or use the award-winning app to connect with a local agent and get a quote. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. So back to the People's Choice Club that night. And a lot of friends had pointed out that Tim's relationship with Mickey might not be the best idea in rural Spalding County, but their warnings did little to sway Tim. He wasn't going to be pushed around by a bunch of racist people telling him who he could and couldn't
And they
date.
like each other. They should be able to like each other.
They should absolutely
That's
be able to like
stupid.
each other. It doesn't fucking affect anybody else.
No, who gives a shit? That's the thing.
You don't like
Everybody-
it? Look the other way.
Everybody mind your fucking business.
Exactly. And that's what it really comes down to.
Even in 2024, that is still true. Everyone
Yeah.
mind your fucking business.
Mind your fucking
God
business.
damn.
It's true.
Like, it's just like, if it's not affecting you, who gives a shit?
And I think, honestly, I remember my mom telling me when I was little, like, I've said so many things about my mom, but this is actually like a good thing that she
Like a
taught me.
positive thing,
I'm like,
huh?
don't worry, it's positive. I remember, like, I would come home and be like, this person is driving me fucking crazy. I wouldn't say fucking, but I'd be like, this person is driving me nuts. And she'd be like, you need to, like, ask yourself in the moment, is that really affecting you?
Yeah.
Like, does that behavior genuinely affect you? And if it doesn't, let it go.
Yeah. Then shut up and move on.
I apply that to like so much of my life. Like if I'm like getting annoyed by something, I'm like, but is that really affecting me? Like outside of it just like annoying
Or
me?
am I just choosing to let it?
Or am I choosing
Yeah.
to be annoyed?
To
Exactly.
like draw myself into it.
Right. And I think more and more people need to look at situations and behaviors like that.
Yeah.
Like, is it really affecting my life in any fucking way other than I'm annoyed by it?
Unfortunately, social media has kind of gotten out of control at this point.
Because people can say whatever the fuck they want to say.
And I feel like it's just like, it's ramped up too
Yeah.
much now. And it's like, And it's not just racism. It's all,
It's
all
bullying,
many
it's
other things. And it's like,
harassment,
but everybody's just allowed to have their fucking 2 cents on everybody's business.
And
it's
you can say something that you would never in a million years look at someone and say. And that's another thing. When you're sitting there typing out a fucking comment, ask yours like a crazy ass comment.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, would I say this to somebody's face?
Who did I see say this? I think I'm gonna have to figure out who the comedian was. It's a girl on TikTok, but she was saying that like when somebody says a mean thing online to her, she was like, I picture them like having to stand in front of everyone they've ever respected or loved, like their mother, their sister, their best friends, their dad, their grandfather, their grandmother, all the people that they respect, and them saying that same comment to me while I stand there
in front of all
and
those
then
people.
having to just look at all those people and be like, yep. Yeah, I said
I know
that.
exactly who you're talking
And
about. I
it's
can't
like,
think of her name.
Erin,
You're right. Erin, hold on.
yeah, because I want to give her credit because it was such a good, I think it begins with an H, Hat.
I know exactly. I can literally see her face.
She's a wonderful follower.
hilarious.
She's very, very, very funny. And she has very, very good like insights onto these little things.
Erin, I'm sorry if I say your last name wrong. Hattimer?
Yes, Hattimer. I almost said Hattimer, but I didn't want to botch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's such a great way to think about it. So that goes the other way too. If somebody's being mean to you,
Yeah,
because I think
look
a
at it
lot
that
of
way.
people have dealt with like assholes, strangers on the internet. Just think about it that way. If it's bothering you, just picture them having to say it in front of everyone they've
a good
ever loved or
coping
respected,
mechanism.
and it'll make you be like, that was a dumb thing for that person to say.
Yeah, it's so true.
But I think back then, it's like at this point in this story, it's like these people need to mind their business.
They do.
Just, let
do.
two people care. They're two consenting adults. Let them care about each other.
And obviously, like this story, it's like it's so much bigger than people just being assholes.
Absolutely.
There's not even words for
This
what
gets
these
taken
people are.
into the stratosphere.
Like
of
nightmare,
awful. Yeah.
nightmare territory. But anyway, most weekend nights at the People's Club, Tim could be found, I'm sure you can guess, at the
Dancing.
center of that dance floor, where his energy and charm just shone. But that night, Tim seemed very distracted, almost from the moment he arrived there. And later, his sister Talissa would remember making her way to the bathroom and hearing somebody else at the club say, and this is a quote, "There were white men outside asking for Tim." Now, in and of itself, in this county, that was a terrifying thing to hear, that there were white men looking for your black brother. Like, I can't imagine how she felt hearing that. And then she caught a glimpse of Tim headed for the front door of the club. So
Oh, boy.
that not only did she hear that most like terrifying thing that you could possibly hear in
then
that moment,
sees him.
but then she's like, oh, this is true. Like, I think he's headed out there.
Oh, boy.
So she followed after him to make sure that he was okay. But by the time she reached the parking lot, he was gone. And she had no way of knowing that was the last time she was ever going to see her brother alive.
Ugh.
The next day, no one in the Coggins house actually really thought much of the fact that Tim hadn't come home the night before. Lowry wrote, it was typical for him to disappear for a few days at a time. He knew everyone around town, so the safe assumption was that he was crashing on someone's couch, which you're in your early 20s, of course. Like, you have a night out, you spend the night at your friend's house,
And if you know
come
everybody
home
around
sometime
town,
later.
it's like, yeah, you got a ton of places to stay.
Right. But Tim was not crashing on anybody's couch. The next day, 2 days after Tim had gone out to meet Mickey at the club, sheriff's deputies were trying to identify a man in his early 20s whose badly beaten body had been found in a field not very far away from the People's Choice Club. Operating apparently without any sensitivity for the potential friends and family of this victim, the photo that deputies were circulating was of a brutalized black man in his early 20s. His face was beaten so badly that he was essentially unrecognizable, but they were going around saying, like, do you know who this is? Showing people that photo.
What the fuck?
Like,
What the fuck?
I don't understand. I don't understand. It was a patron, though, at the People's Choice who thought they recognized the man as Tim Coggins and suggested the officer, Oscar Jordan, check with the Coggins family. So when Jordan showed the photo to Viola, she broke down crying, but Talissa insisted she didn't recognize the man in that photo. She had no idea who it was. I think it was very much a trauma response.
I was just going to say, why would you ever, no part of you is going to click as like, this could be someone I love.
No. And
Like,
it was
your brain
only-
is going to try to protect you from that.
Absolutely. It was only later that she told a reporter, which she didn't want to admit, what she knew immediately. It was Tim. But
Absolutely.
her immediate trauma response is, no, that's not my brother. No way.
No. Yeah, I don't blame her, because that's absolutely your brain trying to protect yourself.
And that family never should have seen that photo.
No.
Like, and never, ever should have, that never should have been their last vision of their loved one.
No, of course not.
It's awful. But on the morning of October 8th, Tim's body was discovered by a father and son who were out squirrel hunting on the outer edge of an airfield in Griffin. The autopsy had yet to be performed, but from what the sheriff's department could tell, and I just want to let you know, this is a lot. Like, this is very graphic. Tim had dozens of knife wounds in the back, torso, wrist, and neck. When he was discovered, his shirt, socks, and shoes were missing. His jeans were pulled down below his knees, and the police found his blood-stained sweater a few yards away. Based on the abrasions on his body and the drag marks and patterns in the dirt, they believed that he had been dragged behind a vehicle.
Oh,
Like, this is...
that's animal behavior.
It's animal behavior.
That's worse than animal
I
behavior.
don't know how.
Animals don't do this.
I don't know how you can do anything like to hurt another person physically. I don't understand that headspace, thankfully. I don't know how you do this. This is not just hurting a person. This is beyond. I don't know how you would do this to an animal.
Doing this, that's the thing. Doing this to another person or another animal, like, you should lock away and throw away the key. Like, you're beyond any kind of fixing.
Rehabilitation or anything.
Any kind of
If you're
anything.
capable of
Yeah.
this, I don't know.
That's the depths.
It's heinous.
The true depths.
Georgia Bureau of Investigation, GBI agent Jared Coleman said it appeared he had been chained to the back of a truck. That truck then drug him feet first around in a square pattern, and there were sites of blood at each corner. So they dragged him like around and around. Like, and this all comes down to him dating a white woman.
We've heard stories like this.
We
before,
absolutely have.
Which is like, this isn't a one-off by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
And that's something everybody should. Oh, that's just like, oh,
It's unfathomable. It comes down to who he decided to date, who he liked, and who liked him.
I was gonna say, and who liked him back?
It wasn't like he was harassing this girl. She met up
No.
with him at the club. Like, she was having a good time with him. They liked each other. That's not your fucking business, and it doesn't concern you in any way. To take it upon yourself to do anything to hurt someone, but then to do this because of their choice of who they want to be romantically involved in, what the fuck is wrong with you? Look inward.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Look inward.
Look inward and then go away
Forever.
forever, and don't join society ever again.
The sad part is, and I'll tell you right from the top, these people got to stay in society for a really long time before any justice was served in this story, before
Awesome.
any justice whatsoever. But a few days later, and I told you from the top, like, this is a heavy one.
Yeah.
A few days later, the autopsy confirmed what the sheriff's officers already assumed, and unfortunately unveiled several other horrible details. It was very difficult to tell the order in which Tim's wounds had been inflicted, but the medical examiner believed that he had been knocked to the ground and stabbed 7 times in the chest in what appeared to be a kind of star pattern. And there were 2 intersecting slashes on his chest and back about 11 inches, it went 11 inches in what formed a large X, which I'm sure you know why.
Yeah.
In addition to the chest wounds, the tendon behind one of his knees was severed, and that was with an additional stab.
Oh.
And then he was dragged behind a vehicle for they don't know how long, an indeterminable amount of time. But evidence at the scene suggested there was a square pattern around the lot, so it was over and over. Like, it wasn't just for a short period of time. It was prolonged.
Holy shit.
Finally, his attackers dragged him further into the field, and he was hit over the head with a large, heavy object that they believed could have been a wooden chair or a table leg. And then his body was dragged even further, and this is gross, to the base of a tree that locals referred to as the hanging tree, and he was left there to die.
What the fuck?
The medical examiner determined that the cause of death had been from the stab wounds, but
They don't know what order that all
they
happened
don't know
in.
what order, and this was not, he was tortured.
Absolutely.
Like, this was not a quick death at all. Like, these people could have stopped their actions at any point in time and only continued and progressed to do worse and worse things to this human being.
The fact that you're telling me that these people, and obviously it's several people, that these people were walking around in society after this for a long time.
Years and years.
And interacting with other people and probably being around children and being around humans and being alone with people.
Not only that, let me even up that, telling people what they did. Telling people about this.
Are you
boasting about it for
sometimes
years.
It's like really base level to be a human being. Like sometimes when you hear shit like this, you're like, this sucks. Like it sucks to be in the same kind of species as these people. Like it's like, damn.
Because we're the only species that will do this to each other.
That's the thing. Like sometimes it's real gross to be the same species.
It's beyond words. Like this entire I've had this one done for a little bit and just like have been getting into the, like
the headspace
to actually like do this case justice and like present it well.
Yeah.
This is gnarly. Like I keep saying there's just not words for what this is. And the fact that this is true. This happened. And like you said earlier, this is not the first time it's happened.
No.
Not the last time it happened.
No, absolutely not.
This shit, similar shit like this happens right now. Like right now in the times that we live in. And that it's beyond.
Yeah. It's This is tough.
It is. It's tough. But I think it's an important story to tell.
Absolutely,
like Tim's story, people should know who he was.
Absolutely.
And
I mean, there's people that walk around and are like, racism is fake. Like this is like there's I've heard people act that way. It's like, of course it needs to be like, nope.
Sit down, let me tell you a story. Yeah. Exactly. Now, like I said, at the time of the murder, Griffin was still somewhat, and I don't even know what, like it's segregated. It's barely somewhat.
Yeah.
There were black residents living on one side and white residents living on the other. Heather Coggins, and again, that's Tim's niece, recalled, "You would see homes with the Confederate flag, but we live on our side of the tracks, they live on their side of the tracks, and you don't intermingle if you don't have to." So that being the case, Sheriff Butch Freeman knew the black community most likely wasn't going to cooperate with a mostly white sheriff's department, especially with a clearly racially motivated crime.
Yeah.
So he assigned one of the department's few black officers, Oscar Jordan, to lead the investigation. And Oscar Jordan tries so hard in this case and in this investigation. And when you hear what happens when he starts actually gaining traction, you're going to want to toss your microphone across the room. I just want to warn you.
Cool.
Now, from the moment Tim's body was discovered, Jordan knew this was going to be a tough case to crack because aside from the tire tracks and the drag marks found at the scene, the only other evidence investigators found was an empty bottle of Jack Daniels and a large broken table leg with black electrical tape wrapped around one end. Jordan assumed that the table leg obviously was the blunt object used to crush Tim's skull.
Yeah, it's almost like they formed it into a bat.
Exactly.
With the electrical tape.
Yep. But with no other evidence, they believe that the killer must have taken the knife that they used to do everything they did to Tim with them when they left the scene. And in the absence of the additional physical evidence, Jordan went back to the Coggins family, where he learned where Tim had last been seen, dancing at the People's Choice with a white woman on the night he was murdered. And he found out that Talissa had seen Tim leave the club and meet two white men outside. But unfortunately, while several people knew that Tim had recently started dating a white girl and actually had even seen her at the club with him, no one knew her name. Like nobody that he was talking to on the Coggins side of things even knew who she was. Others had definitely seen him leaving the club to meet two white men who were waiting across the street from the club, but nobody got a good enough look at the men to identify them. So the Coggins family just didn't have the information to help guide Jordan's investigation, but they did have one piece of information that proved useful. According to Tim's aunt, there was a story going around that two local white guys had given Tim and his friend Danny $600 to buy marijuana, but Tim and Danny had taken the money and never returned with the drugs. And it was a story. This is alleged. A few weeks before Tim was murdered, Danny was killed, his friend, in what everybody assumed was an accident. But in light of Tim's death, Jordan started to suspect that maybe both had been murdered in this kind of drug deal gone bad scenario.
Yeah.
Which I guess to a degree you can understand like how this was a drug deal gone wrong, but the way in which he was killed goes so far beyond that.
Yeah.
Like
there's hate.
It's clear that this
involved
is
here.
not simply a bad drug deal.
Like I understand like following that
Definitely.
because obviously you can't just like be
Ignore
like,
that.
nope, that's not it.
And you don't have anything else.
That's the thing. So I understand that, but it's like
It goes
there's
beyond
hate
that.
here.
Yeah.
There's hate and rage and
And that's the thing.
animalistic behavior.
I
here.
just want to make sure that it doesn't get lost in like a drug deal gone bad kind of thing. Because, spoiler alert, that's not what it is.
That's not what it is.
Now, in pursuit of more information or any kind of evidence, Officer Jordan checked with some of the known drug dealers and users who lived in Carey's Park, which was a white-occupied trailer park in Griffin. He didn't really get more information on the supposed $600 weed deal, but he did hear another rumor that piqued his interest. Someone told Jordan that Sandra Bunn, a local white woman living in Carey's Park, had been bragging to her neighbors about Tim's murder.
What the fuck?
And she's not the only person that was around town bragging about this murder, bragging about having information, about knowing who did it. The people who did it were bragging about having done it.
Imagine bragging about being like a fucking lizard person.
No.
Who just like imagine
No, I
being
actually
that
won't.
disgusting.
No. This
Return
case,
to the ooze where you belong.
that's exactly where these
Truly.
people belong. This case like elicits
So much anger.
so much anger and just like some of them, I can't. But yes, she's bragging about Tim's murder. So when questioned, she told Jordan that on the night of the murder, she'd seen Tim in the trailer park with her brother, Frank Gebhardt, and his girlfriend, Mickey Guy.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember Mickey Guy. That's who Tim was dating.
Yeah.
She had a boyfriend,
Okay.
a white boyfriend, Frank Gerhardt,
Okay.
and another friend named Bill Moore. The group had been having an argument outside of Frank's house before Tim, Frank, and Bill Moore got into Frank's car and drove out of the park in the direction of the quote-unquote hanging tree. So she saw all of this and then heard about what happened later and was spreading that rumor. Or not even rumor, she was spreading that story.
Yeah.
That true story. So finally he found a viable lead in the case. And he was like, okay, I think we're right here. So Oscar Jordan goes to his boss, Sheriff Butch Freeman, and tells him that Tim was last seen with this guy Frank and Bill just hours before his death, going in the direction of where his brutalized body is found. Jordan went to the sheriff in order to get an approval to interview both of these men and was absolutely stunned when, rather than approve his strategy, Sheriff Freeman inexplicably pulled him off of the case and reassigned him to traffic duty.
What the fuck?
He gets a viable lead. Like, what would have closed the case then and there?
That's the most transparent thing I've ever seen.
Would have closed the case then and there. And he said, sorry, you need to go back to
Traffic duty.
Can you imagine? And again, Officer Jordan is a black man.
Yeah.
Gets to finally like possibly
Is cracking
chase
a
down
case.
justice, is cracking a case. And then they're like, hey, go stand in direct traffic again.
Yeah.
While you know that
You know exactly
these
what
two men
happened.
are most likely the men that did this to a black man. And you, another
tell me
black
that-
man, just go direct traffic.
We're
good.
We gonna just say this is coincidence or what?
Can you imagine? I can't even begin to imagine how he would have felt in that moment.
Yeah. Because you're helpless.
Exactly.
Like he must have felt so helpless.
Helpless and fucking angry. Angry.
Yeah.
He later remembered, I was told, thank you, but we're not going to need your assistance anymore.
Oh, fuck.
And you must feel fucking flabbergasted, flummoxed in that moment.
Yeah.
Just like, what?
Like you're really gonna do this?
Like,
And
come
just-
again?
You're gonna do this with your whole chest? Like you're just gonna throw me on traffic duty with your whole fucking chest?
And this is my livelihood. I can't just like quit and
That's
get
the
another
thi-
job somewhere else.
Well, that's the problem here.
I have to
is
stay
that
here.
They know they have the power here because they know that this is somebody's livelihood. They're not
Yup.
just gonna throw it away. And it's like, but he's sitting here struggling with probably so many emotions and so many different feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Unbelievable.
the fact that this is a true story and is so similar to other stories is just fucked. But in his place, Freeman assigned a white officer who went out to Carey's Park and interviewed Frank Gebhardt. According to Frank, he was at his girlfriend's house all evening on the night of the murder, and she corroborated that at the time of the interview. And as far as anybody knew, there was actually no attempt to even interview Bill Moore. Interesting choice.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
So not long after Oscar Jordan was taken off of the case, the Coggins family started getting anonymous threats at home and at work. Tim's stepfather, Robert, got to his job as a bus driver one morning and found that somebody had left a bloody t-shirt on the bus that he drove every single morning.
What?
A few days later, somebody threw a brick through one of their windows and it had a note tied to it that read, "You're next."
What the
Like this
fuck?
family
Was terrorized?
first they lost one of their children, brothers, one of their most
Loved ones.
people. And then they had to see a picture of what happened to him. They got a knock on their door after he was missing, and that's what they saw. And now this is what they're going through.
Wow.
And it doesn't end there. And I just want to give a quick trigger warning for animal abuse and violence because they arrived home one afternoon and found a decapitated dog in the hallway of their home.
What the fuck?
Somebody broke into their home. First of all, did that to an animal, broke into their home and left that in their home.
There's no...
It makes you genuinely sick. It makes you nauseated.
I don't even know what to say. This is just
And why?
this kind of behavior is just so fucking subterranean
It
to me.
is.
It's just what the fuck? And these people are just walking around, living their and bragging about it.
And there's no reason to do something like this to anyone.
No, for people to be able to sit there and to justify this in their own mind somehow.
And lay their head on a pillow at night
Mental
after doing
gymnastics you have to be doing to justify this kind of oozy behavior is
It's
really unbelievable.
it's beyond.
Yeah.
Talissa later said, "We knew from the beginning that he had been killed because he was black." But the harassment was so bad that after Tim's funeral, his family actually chose to bury him without a headstone for fear of further victimization. They knew where he was and they could go visit him, but they couldn't commemorate his memory in any kind of way because they were worried that his grave would also
Be desecrated. And you can't blame them one fucking bit.
No.
But holy shit.
No.
They can't even properly
Bury their
and
loved one.
memorialize their loved one because people won't even let that lie.
No, and they wouldn't have.
No.
Look what they were doing to this family after what they did to...
They can't even think, he's not even safe in death.
No. His
That's
It's disgusting.
That's a different level.
It's
That's
disgusting.
a different level.
That these poor people had to go through what they went through continuously.
Yeah.
For so many years.
That's awful.
His niece Heather said, "We never put a headstone on his grave. We didn't know if they were going to desecrate the grave. We didn't know what they were capable of."
Yeah.
And then they're probably living in fear, wondering, is that going to happen to me next?
Yeah,
Are they
what's
just
next?
terrorizing me up to the point where then they're going to grab me and do that to me?
Absolutely. That's a real fear.
The fear that these people had to have been living in, terrifying. But with Oscar Jordan no longer leading the investigation, the case quickly went cold, almost as though no one at the sheriff's office had any interest in solving the murder.
It's almost like that.
Crazy. By December, just 2 months after Tim's murder, the department shelved the case and cited a lack of leads and a need to allocate resources elsewhere, leaving the Coggins family without answers and completely hopeless. Heather commented, "Who do you turn to for help when the number one people who are supposed to help you don't?
Yeah.
Who do you go to?"
Again, the helpless feeling there and the absolute desperation
And-
that
but-
goes
and-
unanswered must be.
And you can't
I can't
leave.
even
Again,
conceive of it.
Your whole life is here.
That's the thing.
Your job, your house, your family, you can't just get up and leave
That's
because
the
it's
thing. It's
awful.
it's not that easy just to get the hell away from here and get to somewhere. And who at this point I'm like, and you don't even know where you could.
Where do you go?
Where do you go that it's going to be better?
And you can't. Tim's here.
Yeah.
Tim's
can't
grave
leave
is there. You
him.
can't leave him.
And again, you can't. It's not that easy just to pick up and run to another state or run somewhere else. It's like that's that, and they know that.
And unfortunately, by design, it was specifically not easy for the Black community to have the resources and the power to do that.
You know that feeling when you come home late from work and those puppy dog eyes just pierce right through your soul? Or when you're packing for a trip and your cat refuses to leave your suitcase? Yeah, we've all been there. Pet parent guilt is real. And you know what? It's completely normal. That's exactly why Hill's Pet Nutrition exists. They understand that being a pet parent means being human, with all of our imperfections and daily juggling acts. Hill's science-led nutrition helps you give more love than humanly possible. Whether it's those long work days or trying to balance attention between multiple pets, Hill's Pet Nutrition gets it. They've created science-based nutrition that supports your pet's lifelong health, so you can feel confident even when life gets hectic. Because you're only human, there's Hill's. Science does more. Ready to let go of the guilt? Find the right food at hillspet.com/podcast. That's hillspet.com/podcast. Do you remember in school when you just knew that your teacher had a favorite of everything? They would always use the same blue dry erase marker when they wrote on the board, or they would talk nonstop about their favorite element during science. I had a teacher once that literally had a favorite brand of marker. She would only write with specific markers, and if another marker ended up in her classroom, she was TO'd. And honestly, I was probably her favorite student because at the end of the year, I got her that specific brand of marker. Let's talk about their real favorite thing though, their favorite tissue brand. Kleenex. According to Teacher List, they are the #1 facial tissue trusted by teachers. Kleenex Ultra Soft tissues are silky soft to help prevent skin irritation, and now you can take them anywhere with Kleenex Snap and Go. I absolutely love Kleenex Snap and Go. It's so perfect to have that in your car. I had a cold last week and I was just... Honey, my nose was a faucet. I hate to do this to you, but it was disgusting. Drew literally came out of our garage with like 15 of the Kleenex Snap and Goes, and I put those in my glove compartment, and honey, they were easy access. It was so nice knowing that I didn't have to blow my nose into like an old wrapper that I had. Ew. So do the best thing for your kids' teachers and stock up on the ultimate classroom favorite. Maybe it'll make them their teacher's favorite student. They definitely have a favorite. Don't even get me started because again, you know it was me. For whatever happens next, grab Kleenex.
Power dynamic knows that.
Mm-hmm. And eventually the months turned into years, years turned into decades, leaving the family to face the likelihood that Tim's killer would absolutely never be brought to justice. So due to limited resources, major crimes in rural parts of Georgia, especially murder, are actually typically handled by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, who are much better equipped to investigate the cases. Mm-hmm. Since the early 2000s, the GBI actually had a practice of cycling its cold cases for review in the hope that new officers, fresh eyes, might pick something up that other previous investigators had missed. So in 2016, the Timothy Coggins murder case, then 33 years cold, 33 years.
33 years with nothing.
But it made its way to the desk of Jared Coleman, a young agent who had started with the GBI just 2 years earlier. After looking over the case file, what struck Coleman the most was not what the file actually contained, but what was noticeably absent from the file. Oscar Jordan's notes heavily indicated that he believed Frank Gebhardt and Bill Moore to be the two white men seen with Tim outside of the club. And he strongly suspected that they were the two who were responsible for Tim's murder. But as far as Coleman could tell, aside from the one brief interview with Frank Gebhardt, there was very little attempt to question either man or even verify their alibis on the night of the murder.
That's wild.
Like, his girlfriend was like, yeah, he was here with me.
And they were like, cool.
Cool. And then nobody even, as far as anybody knows, there was never an interview with Bill Moore back when this actually happened.
Well, and the good thing is, like, as we know, like, girlfriends and boyfriends never lie.
No, never.
When it comes to alibis for their partners. So
yeah, never.
It's really good that they just let that go.
Checked anywhere else.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, she would never lie about that. I'm
Never.
sure. All these people seem like they're really, like, you know, tip-top people. So
yeah,
I definitely don't double check those statements.
Totally.
Yeah,
definitely.
I bet she's telling the truth. I bet it's fine.
100%. Mm-hmm. Now, while there was very little evidence collected during the initial investigation, it appeared several key pieces of evidence collected in 1983 had just gone missing.
That happens.
It happens
a
all the
lot.
time.
It always happens in very specific cases, but it happens. I
Yeah,
guess,
totally.
right? Yeah.
Among the evidence that had gone missing, Tim's pants and sweater, which actually had contained hair samples when they found them.
Oh, I bet that was just coincidence.
Yeah, just crazy.
Yeah, so
the
weird.
wooden table leg,
Oh.
the Jack Daniels bottle, and the tire impressions that were taken at the scene.
So the evidence.
So
That's wild.
literally almost every
Okay.
piece of evidence that they had. Because remember, they barely had any evidence at the scene other than most of those things.
When this shit happens in cases where they're just like, we lost mountains of evidence for this massive murder case, you're just like, who fucking believes that? Like, who's the person that's like, yeah, that happens? Like, it's just, what?
I also want to
No.
know who destroyed that.
Yeah. Who are you?
Who went out and did whatever the fuck they did with that
Yeah.
to make it get lost
Who
and then
made it
went
go
home and
away?
ate dinner with their family?
Yeah,
Show
that's
me
the thing.
them.
Wait, who laid their head on a fluffy little pillow that night after getting rid of that evidence?
And just went on to live their fucking privileged ass life.
well, probably living in the area and
Seeing this family.
Seeing them going through 30 plus years of torment and not knowing what happened to their loved one.
Yep.
But every night, just fluffy pillow.
Nighty night.
Lay your head on it.
I'm angry right now. Like,
So many people had to be so fucking gross in this case. And that's what is really,
And-
this isn't just like, not that it's like ever just, like the one murderer, you know what I mean? That like in a murder case, you'll have like the bad person who
Yes,
did it,
yes.
And usually you can count on the investigators
guys.
to be the good guys and to be like, you get the good guys and you get the good people that come out and fix this for the family or like at least try to come and put something together for the family.
Yeah.
But in this one, there's just layers of nasty people that are just making this exponentially worse.
in 1983, there was one good guy, Oscar Jordan, who
And
got
that's really
reassigned to
upsetting.
traffic. As far as we know, like as far as key players in this story,
As
I'm
key
sure there were
players,
other
yeah.
like good people on the
You would
police
hope.
force. I'm not saying, I mean, I know for a fact that there was a lot of absolutely deplorable, disgusting humans that weren't
Absolutely.
even just investigators, like secretaries that worked at the police station were in on this cover
And this
up.
is what I'm talking about. It's like,
It goes it's so
that's
far
why
reaching.
this kind of thing is so, it's like so beyond the scope of comprehension because it's like so many people have to be so shitty
at one place in
all
time.
together.
Yep.
Like they all have to join hands and be the shittiest kind of like subterranean fucking filth
Scum.
together.
Yeah.
It's not, again, not just, it's not, you can't just look at these bad guys and be like, wow, bad guys, subterranean, shitty, ooze, bye, like put them away and like we all did that. It's like, there's too many.
And to
There's
think
too many here.
To think of, there's a lot of victims in this case. Timothy Coggins, obviously. Timothy Coggins' family, obviously. Then I couldn't stop thinking about Oscar Jordan while I was writing this, having to go into this police station where he works every single day, knowing one, that he was taken off the case, but there was whispering going on about what they were doing with this evidence to get it lost, what they were doing to actively ignore this
he
case.
was probably feeling
He was
all
there
of
the
that.
day it got shelved, and it's like, he's a black man, and he was so close to solving this, or at least like trying
breaking it open,
like doing anything, and he just had to walk into a police station where everyone was against him.
Yeah.
Every single person was against him and against his community of people. But yeah, just the fact that he had to go through that is horrific. But the obviously limited effort invested in finding Tim's killer was surprising to Coleman, but things only got, and remember, it's surprising because it's 2016, and like obviously still racism is very much alive during
Absolutely.
2016 times and now, like I said. But you can imagine that he would be fucking shocked to be like, this was 1983 and like nothing was done and everything was lost.
Yeah.
But things only got more disturbing as he combed through the surviving evidence. As he dug deeper into the evidence, he started finding correspondence from an inmate named Christopher Vaughn, who actually reached out to investigators many times regarding the Coggins murder. He's disgusting too, but for some reason he wanted to help in this. It's very conflicting.
People are weird.
Yeah. In 2016, he was serving a sentence for, trigger warning, this is gross, child molestation.
Wow.
Yeah. But in October of 1983, when he was a 10-year-old boy, he had gone out squirrel hunting with his father in Griffin. He and his father were the ones that discovered Tim Coggins' dead body.
Wow.
Which is just really nuts to imagine that like a 10-year-old with his dad saw this and then still became a monster afterwards.
I was just going to say, saw the depths of depravity and then decided to reach there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Your brain can't really compute this because he wants to help and he does help in this investigation, but he's fucking disgusting.
That's
It's heinous. But according,
it's like there's no true good people in this.
not in this at all, except
for
Oscar
the people
Jordan
we've
and
mentioned, yeah.
Coleman here. But according to Vaughn's letter, since the murder in 1983, Frank Gebhardt had admitted to him several times that he and Bill Moore had killed Tim Coggins after Frank learned that his girlfriend, Mickey Guy, had been cheating on him with Tim. A decision that she made.
I was just going to say, she made that decision.
As far as, like, I don't know if Tim knew even that Mickey had a boyfriend.
Exactly.
He just liked Mickey.
That's the thing. And if they're together.
And he lives on the difference that he doesn't know.
He doesn't know. And you can't prove that he did. Like, that's the thing. It's like, she's the one who cheated.
And even if he did, that's not an acceptable way to handle
that's the other thing. It's like, that doesn't even touch the fact that there's literally no justification for what you did.
None. But Frank confessed first to Vaughn at a house party when Vaughn was just a teenager. But Vaughn claimed he confessed several times after that, always in a proud and boastful manner. According to Vaughn, Gebhardt told him they killed Tim and taken all the evidence back to his house and dumped it in an old well on the property.
Fuck, where's that old well?
I'll let you know.
Oh, good.
Coleman said the case really hadn't been fully dived into since 1983, but based on his cursory review, he could tell that the sheriff's office in 1983 had made essentially zero effort to follow up on any leads after Oscar Jordan was taken off the case. So now completely determined to fill in these gaps, Coleman paid a visit to Bill Moore, who was immediately uncooperative and wildly evasive.
I'm shocked.
Despite having lived in the small town for his entire fucking life, this is a small rural community where like everyone knows everyone. Moore claimed to know nothing about this case.
Shut the fuck up.
Nothing about this case. Told Coleman that he had actually never even heard of Tim Coggins.
Wow, what a choice to make. What a choice to go that route.
You live in the trailer park where multiple people are walking around talking about this. You live in the trailer park where he was last seen.
Yeah, no
Even
one
if you
believes
do have nothing to do with this, you fucking heard of it.
You've definitely heard of it.
You've heard of this wild, insane, disgusting story.
At least they're idiots. So there's that.
They sure are.
At least they're idiots.
They sure are. Yeah, he said, I've never heard of Tim Coggins.
Yeah, no.
Coleman immediately knew that Bill was lying.
Of course.
But the problem was that more than 3 decades had passed since the murder, and several of the original witnesses had died, including Mickey Guy. She was dead.
Oh, shit.
So like Oscar Jordan before him, Agent Coleman now strongly suspected Frank and Bill of involvement in Tim's murder. He was like, I think you had the right guys from the start. But given the limited investigation done in 1983 and the disappearance, quote unquote, of key evidence over the years, he was going to need a lot of help to prove that either of these two men were involved. So as such, he approached the newly elected sheriff of Spalding County, Darrell Dix, to ask for the sheriff's cooperation in his investigation. It's weird how, luckily it doesn't repeat itself to the full extent, but how like somebody did this in 1983, however many years ago, like had to go to the sheriff and say like, I want to do this. I want to look into this more. And the sheriff then said no. Luckily, this Sheriff Dix was a man of integrity.
Oh, good.
And recognized that local law enforcement had a lot of work to do in order to repair the rift and tensions caused by a very, very long history of racist policing in this area. So
Thank goodness someone is aware of this.
Yeah. And he actually saw Coleman's request as an opportunity to make progress in rebuilding trust with the Black community. So while his deputies began digging through the old case file looking for anything that could point them in the right direction, Coleman moved on to the other suspect. He already interviewed Bill. Now he goes to Frank Gebhardt, who at this time I'm sure will shock you, was serving a prison sentence.
Oh, shocking.
This time for sexual assault, because
that
he's a
checks.
monster in every sense of the word.
Honestly, that checks.
Yeah, of course it does.
Not shocking.
But like Bill Moore, Frank claimed he knew nothing about Tim Coggins' murder.
Yeah.
I don't even think I heard of that.
No.
So Coleman, he needed to change his strategy if he hoped to get anything out of him. So based on Christopher Vaughn's letters to the GBI, Coleman heavily suspected that Frank Gebhardt's then girlfriend, Mickey Guy, had been having an affair with Tim Coggins, which he was like, obviously this is the motive for the murder. So he tested the theory, and sure enough, when he confronted Frank with the affair, Frank's entire tone and demeanor changed dramatically. He still maintained that he had nothing to do with the murder, but this time he added, and this is disgusting, quote, he didn't care if Timothy was killed, should have been minding his own business.
Wow.
Why the fuck don't you mind yours?
I'm like,
Deal with your own fucking family shit in your own home. Break up with your girlfriend. Work things out with her if you want to. Mind your own fucking business as far as Timothy Coggins is concerned.
yeah. Oh, honestly, okay, Glass House.
Exactly.
Okay, Glass House. Mind your own business, he says.
Yeah. But according to Frank, he had no recollection of confessing anything to Christopher Vaughn or anyone else, though he admitted he had been a heavy drinker for more than 30 years, because sure you have to drink those fucking demons down.
Well, and I love that he's like, you know what? I have been a heavy drinker, so like it is possible that I did admit wrongfully to a horrific, racially motivated and highly publicized murder.
That I had nothing to do with.
It's possible.
Yeah, I might have said
Possible.
that.
I'm like, wow.
Like, I've gotten hella drunk at multiple different times. I've
yeah.
never, ever confessed to a murder I didn't
That
commit.
you did not commit.
Nope.
No.
Nope. But when Coleman asked about Vaughn's claims that they dumped all the evidence in a well behind his house, Frank denied that too.
Ooh, get that well.
And when pressed further, he said, well, y'all come out there and dig my damn well up. Which, whether Frank truly expected it or not, was exactly what Agent Coleman intended to do. Okay.
Of course. Okay.
Sounds good.
Threaten me with
Thanks
a good
for
time.
the
Let's
permission.
go.
Thanks.
Yeah, literally. Thank you for the permission. I'm going to do that.
Also, I don't even really know how it works if you're in prison, if technically that's your property anymore. I don't think so.
Honestly, I have no idea how that works.
Yeah, I'm not positive, but I don't think you're like paying taxes on your property from prison.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So maybe
does
it just
somebody
gets
else own the
transferred to like
property,
next
maybe?
of kin.
Yeah,
or
it probably
it
does.
gets sold off. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, it must get sold
Yeah, it
off
must
because
get
I'm
sold
thinking
off.
of a case that we covered where like something gross happened on a farm and they ended up having to sell it to the town.
Yep.
Or like the town takes
Yep.
ownership sometimes.
Yeah.
So, so technically it's not his property.
like the Ed Gein case.
Yeah.
They took ownership of the property.
Exactly.
And then it was like an auction.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like nobody wants to
Nobody
buy
wanted
that.
that shit.
But yeah, so the more Jared Coleman learned about Frank Gebhardt and Bill Moore, the more he came to believe that they were absolutely capable of committing a racially motivated hate crime. Frank and Bill had grown up together in Griffin and had a long history of substance abuse and violent, disruptive behavior.
Just being dicks.
Very much so.
Yeah.
According to Wesley Lowry, and I'm sorry because these individuals are fucked, there is another trigger warning for animal abuse here. On the weekends, Gebhardt would host wild, debaucherous parties featuring beer and pills and shrooms. At least one time, the drunken butchering of a cow on the kitchen floor of one of the trailers, and both men were known as frequent flyers at the local courthouse.
So they're just like there's no they hit all the boxes.
When
of
I
just
said
bye,
monsters
never come out.
In every sense
never
of the
come
word.
out.
Yes.
Bye.
In every sense of the word. And beyond that, they were also known to be like the most racist of racists.
You have to be.
And they both had ties to that local chapter of the KKK and had more than a few friends each in local law enforcement agencies.
Wow.
So it was clear as day that they had done this.
Wow.
Like, it was clear as day that they at least were two men who were very capable of doing this and had the means and the motive.
Yeah.
The more he dug into Frank and Bill's past, though, the more Coleman began to realize that his two suspects actually weren't the only people around with very racist views. In reflecting on his experience with the sheriff's office in the early 1980s, Oscar commented that many on the police force used pointed racial slurs and that it wasn't all that uncommon to hear those kind of slurs amongst people in the police force that he worked on. There had always also been rumors that the Griffin Police Department and the Spalding County Sheriff's Office counted more than a few KKK members in their ranks, many of whom marched in local parades and appeared at events as late as the early 80s when Tim was killed.
How the fuck is that allowed? Like, how do you hold a position like that and be so outwardly...
I think it's so hard for us to even grasp because we've lived in Massachusetts our whole lives.
I was going to say we're very lucky that we have grown up in Massachusetts because it's just
I have never felt luckier to live in Massachusetts for my entire life because
we just don't. It's just not the same.
It's just like, you don't see things like this here. Yeah. Like, fortunately.
No, it's like this is. My brain is having trouble wrapping around a lot of this.
In certain parts of the South, this was just what happened.
And especially in this time period. Especially. And it's like, it should have been very uncommon and horrific to see, but it was part of life. Yeah.
But while the rumors of Klansmen working in law enforcement were troubling for Coleman and for Sheriff Dix, rumors alone weren't going to prove that local law enforcement had attempted to protect Frank or Bill or otherwise interfere in the investigation of Tim's murder. So they were going to have to keep digging for something else. But fortunately, buried deep within the cold case evidence, one of Dix's deputies found exactly what investigators had been looking for. He was combing through that old evidence for anything that could help in the hunt for Tim's killer. And he came across, I feel like you would never expect this. He came across a diary from the early 1980s that actually belonged to a former sheriff's deputy named, it's Norman Fusky, I believe, or Fusky. He worked at the department during the Tim Coggins quote-unquote investigation. Coleman said, in reading through the diary, we found out that the Ku Klux Klan's infiltration into the Spalding County Sheriff's and the Griffin Police Department may have played some role in the lack of closure in this case.
Oh, shit.
Among other things, the diary detailed the Klan's active and ongoing attempts to recruit law enforcement officers at the time and actually named several KKK members who most definitely worked at the sheriff's department during the 1980s.
What the fuck?
Many of whom were actually assigned to the Coggins case after Oscar Jordan was reassigned. Man. Literal KKK members were assigned to this case.
We just can't help writing stuff down that will later incriminate.
Also, just
I'm glad that they kept a diary.
What the fuck did that diary entry?
Did it say like Dear Diary? Today the KKK recruited this guy. Like, what did it say?
Like,
which, again, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy that this guy kept a diary of all the nefariousness that was occurring around him. But I'm always just like, wow,
how did you start that entry?
We're all just out here. Like,
Dear Diary. Dear fucking diary.
Damn. Thanks for keeping the record.
That really was something that helps because up to this point, we just have a bunch of evidence gone.
Yeah.
The word of a child molester.
A well that's sitting over.
An alleged
waiting
well.
to be... Yeah, I'm waiting for that well.
Keep waiting.
I'm hanging on to that well.
In the meantime, write in your diary, I guess.
And then we've got a diary about all the nefarious activities.
And right now, the diary is our best piece of evidence. Like, this is a tough case.
Who'da thunk that would be it?
And the problem is, it's not a tough case. Like, it's not a tough case at all, but it's a tough case to prove however many years later,
they had
33 years later.
If any police work had been done and they had allowed Detective Oscar to do his actual job that he was doing correctly, then they would have they wouldn't have just let it lie at the girlfriend being like, oh yeah, he was with me all night. That never would have just they would have looked into that to make sure that was the correct alibi.
They didn't want to because they were literal KKK members.
Wow.
And that's not hyperbolic, that's fact.
No, it's in the diary.
Multiple people were KKK members.
Damn.
But at best, the diary implied that the racist view of some members of law enforcement had led to Tim's case being prematurely shelved. And at worst, it suggested an act of conspiracy to undermine the investigation by covering for or just blatantly ignoring suspects and quite literally disposing of critical evidence that would have led to a conviction. It really seemed that everyone in Griffin, including the Coggins family, had suspected or just full out believed that Frank Gebhardt and Bill Moore were responsible for Tim's murder. And now Coleman and Sheriff Dix also shared that belief. But the problem was going to be proving their guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Because it was true that the diary implied indirect interference at best, and Frank had confessed his guilt on a lot of occasions. Even after he knew that Coleman and Dix were zeroing in on him, he was still going around telling people that he had done this. But it's all rumors and hearsay. You need like legit, concrete, compelling evidence.
Yeah.
So, based on everything that he learned up to that point, Agent Coleman put together a new theory about the murder. He believed that in the week or so before Tim's death, Frank had heard the rumors that his girlfriend Mickey was cheating on him, and he was already pissed that she was cheating on him. But because his mind and lack of a soul were so beyond racist, it sent him beyond when he found out that she was cheating on him with a black man. And he became determined to do something about it. So on the night of October 7th, 1983, Mickey arranged to meet Tim at the People's Choice while Frank and Bill waited outside. This was a setup.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Mickey knew about this? At least knew that they wanted him to be there?
Presumably she's dead, so we can't
so she
say,
can't
but
speak for her own.
It was the belief that she arranged to meet Tim
At the very least.
and Bill and Frank were waiting outside. And I don't know for fact if Mickey knew that they were waiting outside, but based on everything going around town and the fact that this is a small town,
That's what's being
that's
thought
what's
to be the
presumed
situation.
here. Yeah. Not long after Tim arrived at the club, he ended up getting lured outside and got into that car with Frank, Bill, and Mickey, and then traveled to Carrie's trailer park where they argued outside of Frank's house. A little after midnight, for reasons that are still unclear, Tim ended up getting into a truck. I'm sure he was most likely forced into that truck.
I'm sure.
And Frank and Bill and the three men traveled to an airfield about a mile away where they attacked Tim and did everything we know they did. Once they returned to Frank's house, they threw Tim's clothes, the knife, and the chain into the well behind Frank's house, the chain that they used to drag him. And in the following days, the murder investigation was open, proceeded normally while Oscar Jordan was on the case. But then, when Sheriff Butch Freeman learned of the details of the case and the suspects, he interfered to protect Frank and Bill. And to avoid exposing his department's connections to the local chapter of the KKK, piece of shit, covered everything up.
Wow.
So Coleman took his
Wow.
theory to the Spalding County prosecutor, Marie Broder, I believe it is. She fully trusted in him, but she was very skeptical that such a case could successfully be argued in court. Because what they did have working in their favor were 7 witnesses, though, who were willing to swear in court that Frank had confessed to the murder to them, at least on one occasion. But the problem was 6 of those witnesses were incarcerated. And one of them was serving a sentence for child molestation, which would almost certainly harm all their credibility.
Of course.
If they wanted to get a conviction, what Marie really needed was a taped confession from Frank Gebhardt and some kind of physical evidence that could tie him and Bill Moore to the murder beyond that reasonable doubt. So in April of 2017, Christopher Vaughn agreed to help the investigators by eliciting yet another confession from Frank. Because remember, Frank is incarcerated at this point with Vaughn. So one day while he was out of his cell, investigators set up a hidden recording device in that cell.
Oh, damn.
And then later that afternoon, after he returned, Vaughn entered the cell and they started talking to each other. At first, Frank denied knowing anything about the murder, but eventually, without any prompting, he admitted to confessing to the murder at a party more than 30 years ago. He said he did not know what he might have said while he was drunk at a party, though.
Again, I'm sorry. I don't know a lot of people that confess to brutal, racially motivated murders under the influence of alcohol.
No, don't know a single one, actually.
I have not yet come across that.
Thankfully. But the recording wasn't really a clear, explicit admission of guilt. So that was like kind of shitty. But it did imply that Frank knew more than he was saying.
Absolutely.
So several months later, investigators executed a search warrant at his house where they confiscated more than 50 knives, among other things. And a few days later, another inmate, Patrick Douglas, came forward to report that during a conversation with Frank Frank had confessed to the murder and boasted that law enforcement would never find any evidence on the knives that they confiscated from his home because he'd actually thrown the real murder weapon
In the well.
down the well,
the
and built a large shed over the opening so nobody could get at it. Douglas also quoted Frank as having complained, quote, that it was unfair that Sheriff Freeman could get away with killing a racial slur, but he could not. And also stated, quote, he was the one who slammed him down and stabbed him in the back.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's also implying that the sheriff
Holy
has
shit.
killed a black person. And he said it's unfair that the sheriff can get away with it, but I can't. So it's like,
Wow.
what the fuck
What
else
is
happened
going
in
on?
that county?
Yeah, truly.
So the alleged confessions were compelling, but again, Marie Broader still needed physical evidence to present this case to a jury. But the problem was, in order to access that old well that you need the answers from,
I need that well to be opened.
investigators would have to dig up a lot of the property, destroying the sheds and parts of the house in the process, which was unreasonable and wouldn't get a judge's approval. Unreasonable in the eyes of some.
Legally.
Legally, exactly. But fortunately, Coleman located a new company in Atlanta that actually used a machine called a hydrovac to clean out old wells. So using a high-pressure hose, the hydrovac company forced water into the ground, which forced all the debris out of the earth, and then all of that gets sucked up by a large vacuum.
Oh, shit.
All of which was done without causing any damage to the trailer.
Wow.
So Coleman, Broader, and Dix spent nearly 8 hours at the site watching as the vacuum sucked up and spit out decades worth of trash until finally they started seeing things that they recognized. Among the items pulled from the well were a pair of Adidas sneakers that matched the pair Tim was wearing the night he was killed,
Holy shit.
a white blood-stained t-shirt that appeared to be torn by multiple stab marks,
Decades old.
a piece of old logging chain, and most importantly, a broken kitchen knife that matched the stab wounds on Tim's chest and neck.
Holy shit.
Broader
Decades
recalled.
it's been sitting under the earth.
33 years.
33 years. And they were, imagine the satisfaction of being on like the right side of this.
Oh, yeah.
And seeing those things
Like
come
we
out.
can finally, we
and
have
being
these
like,
so we
there
can
it
get him.
is. Like,
we can get this
boom.
family justice.
And that guy has been, that all those people saying this is what he said to me are telling the truth.
Yeah.
Because he said, I threw it down the well.
Yup. Like,
And now it's being confirmed.
they might be fucked up people.
They might be
but
fucked
for
up,
some
but at
reason
least
they were
we
telling
know
the truth.
this idiot was telling people this
Yup.
stuff, so he's admitted it several times.
Yeah. Marie Broader recalled, it was exciting. This was huge for
Yeah.
us. So she took the shoe to Tim's family, and his sister, Talissa, instantly recognized it as the one her brother was wearing the night that they went out to the People's Choice, the last time she ever saw him. The evidence was circumstantial, but now there was a lot of it, and it all seemed to point to Frank Gebhardt and Bill Moore as Tim's killers. Marie Broader said that was the turning point. There had been so many obstacles along the way, but after the well, we knew we got him.
Yeah, you can't argue that away.
No way. So based on the evidence they gathered, Broader and Griffin Judicial Circuit District Attorney Benjamin Coker, I believe, were able to get arrest warrants. And it seemed that after more than 3 decades, somebody was finally going to stand trial for the murder of Timothy Coggins.
About time, man.
By the time Oscar Jordan was taken off the Coggins case in 1983, he had a pretty good idea of who killed Tim Coggins and why.
Yeah.
And knowing that much of his removal from the case had affected Jordan, Coleman called the former sheriff's deputy.
I was so hoping that I've been thinking this whole time,
Yup.
like, please tell me that this guy got to be part of this whole thing in some way.
Actually, you're going to shit yourself. Coleman called him in mid-October and asked him if he would like to be among the officers to make arrests.
Oh, shut the fuck up. I am so happy right now. I was thinking this whole time, I'm like, if anybody
Coleman is such a
deserves
real one.
this,
Such a
like,
real one.
yeah.
Jordan happily accepted Coleman's offer, and on October 13th, 2017, after being deputized by Sheriff Dix, Oscar Jordan led a team of officers that arrested Frank Gebhardt and Bill Moore for the murder of Timothy Coggins. Also
Amazing.
arrested that day were Milner Police Department employee Lamar Bunn and his mother Sandra, and Spalding County Sheriff's Officer Gregory Huffman for the role that those three played in obstructing the original investigation.
Amazing.
In his statement to the press, Sheriff Daryl Dix emphasized to the reporters there's no doubt in the minds of the investigators that that the crime was racially motivated, and if it occurred today, it would be presented as a hate crime. When asked why the case had been reopened by the GBI and the Sheriff's Department, Dix explained, many of the witnesses interviewed said they'd been living with the information since Coggins' death, but had been, quote unquote, afraid to come forward or had not spoken of it until now.
Wow.
So some people hadn't even talked about this because they were so scared of these two men and
shit.
the people they were associated
Yeah.
with. So they were harboring these secrets for 33 years.
Just for fear of their own safety.
Exactly. But with Frank Gebhardt and Bill Moore in their older years, now those witnesses weren't intimidated by them any longer and wanted to do the right thing. So for Daryl Dix, the arrest felt like a major step in the right direction toward rebuilding the trust with Spalding County's Black community. When asked whether reports from 1983 accurately described the murder, he replied, yes and no. It was more than a simple murder. It was done to send a message. It was overkill. And Coleman echoed the sheriff's opinion, telling a reporter, the death of Mr. Coggins was very clearly a lynching.
Wow.
Which it was.
Yeah, absolutely.
They left him
it was.
underneath a hanging tree after torturing him.
Absolutely.
For who knows how long.
Ugh.
Now, at Frank and Bill's arraignment a few days later, District Attorney Ben Coker argued both men should be denied bond, citing their long history of witness intimidation and the frequency and pride with which they boasted about the murder, both of them. Superior Court Judge Fletcher Sams agreed with the district attorney and denied bond, noting that to decide any other way would be quote-unquote inappropriate.
You know that feeling when you come home late from work and those puppy dog eyes just pierce right through your soul? Or when you're packing for a trip and your cat refuses to leave your suitcase? Yeah, we've all been there. Pet parent guilt is real. And you know what? It's completely normal. That's exactly why Hill's Pet Nutrition exists. They understand that being a pet parent means being human, with all of our imperfections and daily juggling acts. Hill's science-led nutrition helps you give more love than humanly possible. Whether it's those long work days or trying to balance attention between multiple pets, Hill's Pet Nutrition gets it. They've created science-based nutrition that supports your pet's lifelong health so you can feel confident even when life gets hectic. Because you're only human, there's Hill's. Science does more. Ready to let go of the guilt? Find the right food at hillspet.com/podcast. That's hillspet.com/podcast. This is a paid ad by BetterHelp. I happen to be somebody that struggles with people pleasing. So a lot of times I will build things up and up and up and up and up and then kind of get to the point where I'm like, I need to let this out to this person. Even in 2026, that stigma and just stigma in general can get in the way of a lot of things, like getting support for your mental health. Maybe you've encouraged friends to consider therapy while avoiding taking that first step yourself because you're busy. You're worried about what other people might think or telling yourself that you should handle this all alone. But therapy with BetterHelp, the world's largest online therapy platform, can be a space to slow down and talk through what's been building before it feels unmanageable. Just take a short questionnaire to identify your needs and preferences, and BetterHelp will handle the initial therapist matching work for you. Their industry-leading match rate means BetterHelp typically gets it right the first time. Feel confident knowing BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct and are fully qualified. Don't let hesitation hold you back. Find support with BetterHelp. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/morbid. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/morbid.
Appropriate, which hell yeah.
Yeah.
In early December 2017, a probable cause hearing was held to determine how the case would proceed. And in her statement to the judge, Marie Broder explained the theory that Tim had been murdered because of his relationship with a local white woman, and the crime had 100% been racially motivated. Frank Gebhardt and Bill Moore, quote, wore the crime as a badge of honor, she said. Which,
Can you
they just went around town.
wore this with a badge of honor?
And they were treated like it was.
I was gonna
by other
say.
people in the community.
And
Other
no
people in the
one made them
community
feel
pat
any
them on the
different.
back.
Yeah. No one contradicted that way of thinking.
No.
So they just thought, yeah, what we did was good.
Yeah, we're hometown heroes. They were treated like hometown heroes.
That's almost too much to really
To comprehend.
Like that truly is. it's hard to comprehend that even a couple or a few people are this gross
Depraved.
and depraved. But it's like when you really think of the far reach of this, you're like it's
Yeah.
almost too much for your mind to even go to be
Absolutely.
like, I can't deal with the fact that there's that many people and like
That are like
so for this and justify this and would do this or support this or just turn a blind eye to this. Like, that's a lot to think about.
It's scary. And to think that, like, we're all human. Like, we're all the fucking same. We all look the same on the
species.
inside. Like,
Yeah, we all got the same stuff.
like, people will do this to one another.
Yeah.
Like, a human will do this to another human.
And other people will pat them on the back instead of
Instead
condemning
of going
it.
to the police and exactly condemning them. It's heinous.
It is.
In his testimony, Jared Coleman elaborated on their theory, telling the judge they were proud of what they had done. They felt like they were protecting the white race from black people.
Wow.
Which is like, what?
The delulu.
The deranged
The
Delulu.
cognitive dissonance, the detachment from reality.
Monsters, absolute monsters. To support the case, though, Broader cited the numerous accounts from witnesses detailing the men's proud confessions and the recordings in which Frank can be heard saying, if you give me a name of a witness, they won't testify. So he was going to continue to fuck with witnesses and to scare people and intimidate them.
Damn.
For the Coggins family, many of whom were hearing the details of the murder for the very first time, the grand jury was obviously a very difficult experience, to say the least. Sitting directly behind Frank Gebhardt during the hearing, Heather Coggins said, it's always difficult when someone isn't sorry for what they've done. When you understand they're not sorry for what they've done, it makes it easier for you to not be sorry for what's going to happen to them.
Yeah.
Because it's like, he sat in court unapologetic, completely without any remorse whatsoever, sitting in front of this man's family.
Yeah. And knowing that
And for Tim Coggins' family to have to sit behind this man
and see this man
whose hands were capable of doing what they did to their loved one, to be in the same room with somebody that hateful toward your race must be one of the scariest, like, most intimidating experiences. Like, the fact that they had to sit there for this and were willing to is remarkable.
And for this guy to be completely unapologetic and zero remorse
And to fathom,
and only worried about his own ass, it's like,
Yeah.
that must be a whole new level of just.
to sit in the same room with him,
Yeah.
to fathom that guy is breathing the same air as you.
Yeah.
But luckily, the judge ruled in favor of the prosecution, and on December 5th, a grand jury was convened, who also sided with the district attorney, agreeing that the case against both men should go to trial. So Frank Gebhardt's trial began in late June of 2018, and in her opening statement, Marie Broader replayed the theory that Tim was murdered because of his relationship with Mickey Guy, but also noted that the murder likely would have been solved decades ago had it not been for the racist ideologies that permeated local law enforcement agencies. She told the jury the sad and incredibly bleak truth. She said they didn't care about Timothy Coggins, and then she asked them to atone for the sins of the past. Frank's defense attorney, Scott Johnston, seized on Broader's remarks about the shoddy initial investigation, emphasizing that the state's case was built on nothing more than circumstantial evidence and hearsay testimony from several known criminals.
Oh, please.
He noted the missing pieces of critical evidence, including the makeshift club, extra clothing, and the Jack Daniels bottle, asking rhetorically, where did it go? According to Johnston, it was incumbent upon the state to prove his client's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, and the prosecution, quote, shouldn't get a pass just because the case is old.
The fact that this is even being like brought into the conversation
Is wild.
is insane to
And
me.
also, like, what about the evidence that is there?
That's
I'm
the
sorry,
thing. I'm
is
like,
all that shit
we're
in your
ignoring
well?
that?
In your backyard? What's in your backyard?
Well, that's the thing. I'm like, I'm sorry.
You got bloody shirts in your backyard and
also-
murder victim shoes?
You got to explain to me logically and realistically how these inmates, regardless of how shitty they are, knew that these things were in that well. If that man didn't put them in that well and tell them that he put them in that well.
Exactly.
People didn't even know that well existed. He said he hid it.
Mm-hmm. He literally built a shed over it.
And he did.
But then you found all the stuff that people said
And
was
you
going to be
found
there.
the-
There.
Geez, this guy even said, of all the knives that they confiscated, they're not going to find the one that I did it with because I threw that down the well.
And then they found
it
that
in the
well.
well. I'm sorry. How do you explain that?
Exactly.
Like, legal bullshit doesn't do shit for me with that. It's like, no, explain it. Explain it in reality.
Exactly.
Every step. How that makes any fucking sense. Any other way, but he put that shit down there after he committed the crime.
His argument essentially was like, they didn't have some of the clothing in the Jack Daniels bottle or the makeshift club. It's like, okay, but they found one of the murder weapons, because again, there were various,
clothing.
And the victim's
Covered
clothing
in
and
blood.
shoes.
Like, I'm sorry, no.
Like a
we're
tattered
not.
shirt.
There comes a time when you have to hang it up.
Exactly.
Hang it up.
But it wasn't just the missing evidence and questionable character of informants that was working against Broader in the district attorney's office. Much of the newly collected evidence, like the recordings of Frank and the evidence discovered in the well, did present challenges. The defense pointed to the discrepancies in the various confessions, noting specifically that the motives seemed to differ between racism and drugs, depending on who was asked. And after more than 30 years, it was reasonable, quote unquote, to question whether the rumors and boasting from Frank were exactly that, exaggerations and lies. Finally, when it came to the evidence in the well, the defense noted that it had been so degraded by the elements that it was impossible to conclusively connect it to Tim Coggins. Maybe forensically, but come the fuck on.
Like, I get that. I get if you're coming down to like brass tacks and like forensically, we cannot conclusively link this. Okay, that's reality. Like, that is reality.
Totally.
I get that.
But for
that's
me,
science. That's it. But
if I was sitting on that jury and I heard 6 people said this specific shit was going to be found in this well, and then it was found in this well, and this man confessed to murder, and his girlfriend was cheating on him with this man that was murdered, and he had known ties to the KKK and KKK infiltrated law enforcement.
there's
reasonable doubt gone.
There's a lot here. That's
reasonable
the thing.
doubt
It's
gone.
like, yeah, sure, call it all circumstantial, but that's a lot.
That's
a
the
lot.
thing. And there are cases that there's way less circumstantial evidence.
Absolutely. That have
and
been
it's
convicted.
still gets a conviction.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But despite the, I don't know, despite the quote unquote lack of evidence, it's hard to even call it
I know.
that.
It literally is quote unquote.
But, Broader remained laser focused on the brutality of the killing and the racist motive for the crime. She said, it deserved fire and passion. I wanted those jurors mad about what happened to Tim Coggins. I wanted them rocking back on their heels. So the prosecution called more than a dozen witnesses and used every piece of evidence to demonstrate how Frank Gebhardt's racist views and connections to the KKK had not only led to Tim's murder, but also contributed to a casual conspiracy to cover up his involvement in the crime. In his closing arguments, the defense made one last attempt to undermine the case against his client. He insisted, it's a made-up story. It's a reasonable doubt because it's a made-up story. But are all the things they found in the well made up?
Is that made up?
Or
is that physically something that you can look at?
That.
No, the well, I'm sorry, I can't get past the well.
If they didn't have the well, I could see there being a reasonable doubt.
Yeah, because I could see just
there's just no evidence.
Legally, I could see there being reasonable doubt.
Legally, exactly.
And it's like, but I can't get past the well. I can't get past the well.
But reminding the jury where the witnesses had come from, he said, it's just trash. That's what those witnesses amount to. That's what all your jailhouse witnesses amount to, is just trash. The same thing that was found in the well. To say that evidence that was found in the well is just trash.
If they're all singing the same tune and the tune happens to be correct, they're garbage, but they were right. Like,
and
I don't know what to tell you.
Call that evidence that they found in that well trash. I take my trash out once a week. Never have I ever found a murder victim's shoe.
Nope.
Never have I ever had a bloody t-shirt covered, like tattered because of somebody was stabbed wearing it. Never have I ever found a murder weapon that matched the exact murder weapon of a victim that I had ever been tied to. No, that's not just trash.
That's what doesn't, it just doesn't vibe with
like,
me
that's
at
not
all.
a riveting argument.
No.
But despite the degraded evidence and the questionable and criminal character of the witnesses, the jury did not take long in their deliberation before returning to the courtroom to announce that after 33 years, Frank Gebhardt was guilty on 5 counts, including first-degree murder, battery, and assault. After sentencing him to life in prison plus an additional 30 years, Judge Fletcher Sams addressed Frank Gebhardt saying, "Hopefully, sir, you have stabbed your last victim."
Wow.
Later, when asked what it was that swayed the jury the most, the foreman said, "We counted 17 times that Mr. Gebhardt admitted to the murder in some kind of way over the years."
And that's just the ones that have come out.
17 times.
17 times he has admitted to that. 17 times that they have been able to find
You
or
don't
hear about.
You don't accidentally high on drugs admit to a murder 17
times that you didn't commit.
No. Exactly. That you didn't commit.
It doesn't fly.
Now, remember, there's another person here. For Bill Moore, who was scheduled to go on trial in a few months, the conviction was an ominous sign of things to come. So a few days later, he agreed to a plea deal in which he pleaded guilty to manslaughter.
I'm sorry, what?
I don't know why this deal was presented. I think they could have convicted him.
Wow.
I don't know all the logistics, but wow. He got a 20-year sentence. A 20
years?
year sentence. I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that the murder weapon was found in Frank's on his property, and the fact that he had in many of those confessions said he was the one who stabbed Timothy Coggins, but manslaughter, 20 years for this crime, that's outrageous.
Were they they must have been older at this point, at least like middle-aged.
Yeah.
You know, like
absolutely. It was 33. I think they were around their early 20s when this happened.
So like in their 50s or something like that.
Yeah. And Frank was already in jail.
Yeah.
But on October 19th, 2021, Moore died at the Augusta State Medical Prison after serving just 2 years of his sentence.
Whoops.
Rest in distress, asshole.
Whoops.
For Coleman and Broader, the investigation and trial were just the first important step to righting the countless wrongs that have been committed against Spalding County's Black community by local law enforcement for decades. Broader told a reporter, "This case changed me forever. I had never experienced evil purely based on someone's skin. You really know nothing, and you have to recognize that and say, this happened. It happens. And in order to confront this evil, you cannot shy away from it. You have to confront it head on."
Wow.
It gives me chills.
Yeah.
For the Coggins family, the convictions were a remarkable turning point they never expected to see.
No, they
After
probably thought
33
they would go
years.
to their graves never having anything happen in this case.
For more than 3 decades, they had been denied justice and just left to not wonder what happened to Tim, because they saw that he was brutalized, but they didn't know the specifics, and they didn't know who had done this to their loved one. And some of them were unable to ever get those horrific images of his brutalized body out of their minds, because remember, law enforcement was circulating a photo trying to get an ID on Tim. But thanks to the hard work of Jared Coleman, Oscar Jordan, Daryl Dix, and Marie Broader, among others, they could put those thoughts to rest somewhat and move forward remembering and celebrating Tim for the person they remembered him to be. Unfortunately, Tim Coggins' mom, Viola, didn't technically live to see justice carried out, and this will make you possibly cry or like have chills. In some otherworldly way, she did see justice. And Wesley Lowry's article about Tim's case for GQ, which I definitely recommend, it's going to be linked in the show notes, definitely read it. He opens up by recounting the night that Viola had somewhat of a vision into the future. She was pretty much on her deathbed, and her daughter Talissa was there making her comfortable. And Viola declared, just seemingly out of nowhere, they found out who killed Tim. And this was before anything had happened.
It went whoop,
She continued.
chills.
And she continued, they found out who killed Tim. I ain't going to be here for it, but they're going to get who killed Tim.
Oh my God. I feel you. Do you ever feel chills in your head?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like a weird,
it went
like-
all the way up to my skull.
It's like a whoosh.
Holy shit.
She just, I don't know what she saw,
And for her to say, I'm not going to be here for it, but
but they're going to
they're
get
going to
him.
get it. Fuck yeah, they are.
A mama always
knew.
knows. And I'm happy that while she didn't get like physical peace,
That she knew.
she knew
It's
she
gonna
got
happen,
She got
so.
some kind of peace. Like she saw something wherever she was.
Who?
Like I guess she hadn't like eaten really in days. I want to say it was either kidney failure or liver failure. I think it was kidney failure. But she was like in the throes of that, and then all of a sudden came to and said
This
that to
clear
her daughter
cognizant.
Talissa. And it was like she
Damn.
hadn't said much in days.
And imagine being Talissa on the day that they were sentence.
Oh my God.
Sitting there being like,
She was
knew.
right.
Like,
Yeah.
she knew.
Oh, I can't. Like, I just keep getting chills on top
I'm so
of my
happy
chills.
that she got that though.
Me too. In 2020, Talissa Coggins told Wesley Lowry, "Black people have a way because of all that we've been through, the way we was raised. Forgiveness is the first thing that Black people learn. After all the stuff that Black people have endured, from slavery up till now, we are still a forgiving people."
Wow.
It's like, that makes you want to cry. That like
Yeah, it literally
forgiveness is the
does.
first thing you
Like,
have to learn as a Black person.
Because your whole
of
life you're gonna have
everything.
to, that like people are going to wrong you.
Like, people are
And
going to
just
wrong
have
you, and you learn this whole history of how everyone before you, like in your community, was wronged.
and how to move on from
And
that.
just to end that with, we're still a forgiving people.
Damn.
Like, that's a big
that's-
person.
Yeah. That family's a very impressive family.
I found this case actually through Wesley Lowry's GQ article, and he opens it up with that story of Viola. And I read
Immediately
that
was
first
like-
couple paragraphs, and I was like, we have to cover this. Like, we have to cover
Damn.
this. It's such a gut-wrenching story.
Oh, it's a horrific story.
But the fact that after 33 years, that family got justice, Talissa got to see it, Viola knew it was coming.
she knew it was coming.
And Oscar Jordan, a Black man
The
who was taken
fact-
off the case, got to arrest those racist motherfuckers.
The fact that they called him back to I'm like,
Absolutely
that you can't-
incredible.
You can't write that. Like, that is, and I was the whole time you were talking, when after he was taken off the case, I was like,
He's got to come
if
back.
this man doesn't get some part of this, like, justice here, I'm gonna be so angry, just because like he was so close,
Yeah.
and they just yanked him away right when he had it.
And like Sheriff Daryl Dix, like deputizing him.
Oh, and
in that,
yes.
in that county or however
And the
it had
fact
to
that
work.
he was like, fuck that, like the fact that Dix was like, I'm not continuing this same
yeah, he was like,
way that we've been going down here.
we owe this to
forever.
the Black community in our
Yeah.
area. We owe this and then some.
It's about time, people, you know,
Really.
like that kind of stuff. Like, people step up. It's that. Wow. I'm
Happy.
very happy that that story has at least an ending that is satisfying. You know,
Like in a
that
justice
you can go,
sense.
okay, like something right came out of that.
And I just want to, like, I'm so happy that Viola, somehow knew.
That's wild.
It's like otherworldly, and you just have to wonder
What did
where
you
she
see?
was and what she saw. Like,
yeah.
just I just like go into this like different part of my mind, like
Yeah,
trying to
just
picture
trying to
that.
figure out.
It's crazy. It's a
That's
crazy
wild.
story. And
Wow.
it's really sad, but I'm happy that it ends the way that it does.
Yeah, it's one that needs to be told.
Yes. So with all of that being said, we hope you keep listening.
And we hope you
keep
it weird.
You know not to keep it as weird as anything I just told you.
You know that.
XOXO.
There's only one Ozempic.
Hello, I'm Ozempic.
And I'm other GLP-1s, kind of like him. Ozempic, you redid your jingle?
Ah, thanks for noticing. Catchy, right?
No.
Okay, then. Well, ask your doctor about which FDA-approved uses of me, the Ozempic pen, may be right for you. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and learn more about Ozempic semaglutide injection, 2 milligrams. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA-approved Ozempic.
There's only one Ozempic.
Ah, I told you it was catchy.
Talk about regrets. We all know someone who's been in a car accident and said, I don't need to call a lawyer, only to regret it after their pain and damages were worse than expected. When someone hurts you, you deserve to be compensated fairly. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm, fighting for the people for over 35 years. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com/podcast. That's forthepeople.com/podcast. Their fee is free unless they win.